Hey y'all, my name is Deja, and I just wanted to show y'all how I made this wrap shirt out of an old pair of pajama pants. Disclaimer, I messed up over and over again, but it still came out very cute. Please don't watch it if you're an advanced sewer because I don't want to hear it. I know I did everything wrong and I didn't measure stuff, but if you're new at it, I'm kind of here to tell y'all that you can make mistakes and you don't have to be perfect, and it's all just a bunch of experimentation, and you can have fun with it and come out with a one-of-a-kind garment at the end. So here we go.
This basic top is a rectangle with a hole and 4 straps.
Easy peasy, right? You tie the one from the front into the back, and then you tie the other one in the front. I've been wearing this one for about a year, and the only thing I don't like about it is that the sleeves are too long. So I made that one a little too wide, but this is the pair of pants that I'm going to show you how to transform. First, I started by ironing the hell out of it while I was bopping to the tunes of Glorilla, as you can tell. Keeping in mind that I didn't like the width of the previous one, I folded it under and measured, so my desired width was around 18 inches. I cut all the seams open with this dangerous ass electric cutter. I started with the outer leg, then the inner leg, then the crotch, then the waistband, and then I had these 2 large pieces to work with. That's when I started scheming, honey. But not before cutting off these pockets. As I found out Glorilla got a Christmas song, I began laying out all my pieces and trying to measure. Now already I'm doing this incorrectly because the plan was to do 18 by 19. 19 was going to be the height, and this ruler is 18 by 2 inches, so I figured I would just add the extra 2 inches after measuring out the 18. You get what I'm saying? But then when it came to laying it down, this is bad. Tell me why I cut it at 18 inches. Oops. And after some deliberation, I decided, screw it, let's just cut right next to it. I don't know, we'll figure it out, girl. Also, why the hell was I cutting it so chaotically? Like, why did I lay this on top of the other piece and I wasn't even trying to cut the other piece? I don't know. But at least now I had a vague idea of what I wanted the size to be. So I laid it on top the other, and I can't even explain this thought process. I've looked back at this video so many times and I don't understand what I was thinking. But I guess I just bravely charged ahead, figuring I'll just piece stuff together to eventually get to the 19 by 20 inches that I wanted. Yeah, I can't really give you an explanation for this. All I could say is that I'm either really brave or really carefree. And that it really didn't matter because in the end, I ended up with a really cute shirt that I'm proud to wear. So, take that, precision. So I serged those 2 long pieces together, and then after that, I took the piece that I'd cut way too narrow and I serged the long piece to that. Also, for some reason, this whole time my serger was trying to sew ruffles, which was making me mad, and I just never figured it out all along. So that's mistake number 2. But anyway, now I had these 2 big pieces, and for some reason, my ass thought it would be a good idea to lay down on top. I don't know what the logic is here. Well, I trimmed them down and then I examined the width, which I figured would be enough coverage. But then I was like, ooh, maybe I should make it a dress. And so I took the other scraps and puzzle pieced them together so that I could have 4 full panels of this. I kind of figured that the ones that were more puzzly could be for the top part and keep the original pieces as the skirt. So here's my really original and innovative way of piecing things together by making rectangles, and it's not precise at all. But hey, say what you wanna, now I had 4 rectangular pieces. And this is how I tried it on, thinking, yes, this is going to look amazing. From here, I took the 2 bodice pieces and serged them together because that was where I was gonna cut the hole for my big head. My big head is about 22 inches around. Here's me thinking and doing math, which I did wrong. The idea is that I was going to cut this in half and then mark out a quadrant for where the head goes. 22 divided by 4 is 5.5. Am I wrong about that? Come on now. But why the hell was this hole so damn big? Mistake number 8. So here's me trying it on with a level of unmatched disappointment and regret. Look at the back. Well, the show must go on, I guess. Look at me thinking about it. What the hell am I gonna do? Cause ain't no way I messed it up this many times. The other one I did within an hour. How did I mess this up so bad? Well, I serged the neck hole and then I had an idea. Okay, so this fell apart. This is one of the arm sleeves hole thingies. Here's what I'm gonna do. Because I made the damn neck hole way too big. So I'm gonna just cut off
An inch.
So I chaotically charged forward. What the hell else was I gonna do?
I think that's better.
I checked the coverage, decided that was good enough, and then I just started working on the ties. Hell. I went ahead and grabbed the waistband for this, figured it would be the perfect length, and seam ripped all those. I still needed just a little bit more, so I incorporated the large circle that I use for my very large big head. I improvised because I'm very quick on my feet, as you can see. I ironed those to a similar width, and then I pieced those together into 2 long straps, which ended up being 25 inches. After that, I ironed them flat, and then I ironed them right sides together because I was going to make a tube I was going to turn inside out. So here's me doing that. And now when you see me pulling this apart, it's because I still had the ruffle problem on the serger, which is annoying as hell. But also, I made sure to close one side on each one before I turned it inside out in a very precise way. I should probably get one of those bodkin loop turner thingies, but I like doing it like this. Now I had some very beautiful, impressive straps, which I made sure to top stitch just to keep them flat. And here's where it gets ugly. I put the fabric on my body thinking, okay, yeah, that could be a dress. And then I serged the top and the bottom parts together. And look at this. This is a travesty. That ain't covering up nothing. What about my side booty? And that's when I knew it was time for plan B. I wanted to get a black sheet, but this was all I could find. The thrift store by me kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. But I very imprecisely cut 2 strips and then very precisely clipped them together, thinking, all right, I'm gonna add like 1.5 inches to each side. Do not even ask what compelled me to choose this fabric. I mean, it was about all they had, but I should have known with my seeing eyeballs that this was not gonna look good next to leopard print. But anywho, I serged 2 long strips that I was just like, all right, this will be the coverage that I wanted. I top stitched that, serged all the bottom edges, and then it was time to try it on. Oh, Lord. What even is this? Still in denial of my failures as a seamstress, I knew it was time to make the skinny strap, so I grabbed the pocket for that because I figured that would be just enough fabric to make a long strip of bias tape. Now this was an improvisation and an innovation, if you ask me. Because how I did it was by making sure the bias was all in the same direction, and then I serged them together making this little rectangle. Out of this rectangle, I started in the center and cut 2-inch strips along the bias because I didn't want to have as much disjointedness, but as you can tell, I did it very imprecisely. For some reason, I really like this part where you set them up at 45-degree angles and make sure they match up. But anyway, here's my 1/2-inch bias tape maker, which I love so very dearly. I used to make shoelaces with this. It's a very mindless activity. But yeah, there were some points where I really had to struggle to get the tape through because, as you can tell, it's very bulky. But we could just ignore that because we're not perfect and we're never going to be perfect. So I stitched that into a very long strip, and then it was time to add the straps to the garment, if you could call it that. I wouldn't call it that. I stitched the little straps on, then I stitched the big straps on, and then it was time to try it on. Look at me trying it on, being like, maybe it should be shorter. Does that look good? No, it doesn't, girl. By the way, does anybody else have a greedy cat that hounds you just about all day for food? Because that's what this one does. It was not even snack time, it wasn't no dinner time, but he was out to get me, as he usually is. Ew, what a diapery tunic. And I don't think he liked it either, because look, this was my sign. This face tells me, girl, that's ugly, fix it.
Whoa.
So I serged all that ugly gray shit off, and then I cut the whole skirt off. Back to square 2. Sorry, y'all. If you're still here, like, comment, and subscribe. Bear with me, but really do subscribe. And you can leave a comment saying, why did you waste 15 or so minutes of my life? Or you could just say, hey, I like your content, and that would make me feel good. Love ya. Now, all this time that I've been running my mouth, I was adding extra fabric to the top from the skirt part I had cut off because I was like, this is just going to be a shirt. And here I'm attaching the straps again. Okay, now we're talking with that wonky hem. Hey, girl. It's looking better, though. Hey, you got to give me that. but something was missing, and I still had a lot of extra fabric, so then it was time to make ruffles, y'all. I figured I needed some type of win because ruffles I know well. And I don't know if you noticed, but I've changed clothes about 10 times in this video. The reason being, this was several days of foolishness, so I was ready to be done. So I serged my strips, hemmed on one side, then I put on my ruffler foot because the ruffles from the serger are not going to stay. I've already realized that. This is my ruffle foot. You see the little hinge on there? You turn the little knob and then it'll make the ruffles tighter or looser. So I use that, and as you can see, those are not coming apart. Top stitched the ruffles on there, and then when I got to the end, I serged off the edge so that I could be able to hem the other end of it. And I did that on both the front and the back. Obviously, duh, I don't want just a ruffle on the front. That wouldn't look good. Who the hell am I arguing with? So now that I had all the straps on, I just had one more thing to do. I used the last fabric to make bias tape to sew around the neckline. Are y'all ready for this reveal? Wow! I actually like how it came out, and I've worn it out a few times. The only issue with it that I don't love is that the little strap kind of needs to be tucked into your pants or your drawers if you're crazy in order to have it not be in the way and make the back look lumpy. Other than that, it's really cute. I do think that potentially next time, instead of the little strap, I'm actually going to use an elastic that stretches across the back. I was thinking it would be really easy to make it out of a sheet and just cut a hole in the middle, because I do think this would be cool as a dress. Anywho, this was a pretty fun project. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff like this, maybe not as chaotic. I actually got a projector that I'm really excited to do some experimenting with, but I don't think it's going to be as wild as this one. But anyway, I hope to see y'all soon.